somebody in 4chan accurately pointed out years ago, why atheism was dying. Because 8 years ago, 7 years ago, atheism was huge. You had Sam Harris and the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, that they named themselves that cynically, sarcastically. And atheism, rationalism, self-determinism, materialism, all this stuff was in a big upswing because of the hypocrisies of the church and all that. And it all just died. And somebody said, why did atheism in America die? And someone says, because the devil showed up. And when you witness evil, and we now see it a lot, you do realize that there is a metaphysical reality to this world. And so the cold, dead, chaotic, material universe that the atheist promotes is obviously not real. Bibi, a Bengali person from my hometown who was a year younger than me, killed himself a week ago. He apparently had depression. I immediately thought of this guy had a spiritual deficiency. He needs to have and grow his own personal relationship with God, whatever form that might be. Yeah, people drown in lies. They drown in the lies and the inversion of society. I thought Christopher Hitchens was funny, at least. Yes, but he was a very sad and very disturbed man. And that's why, people will criticize someone like me or a lot of other people and say, oh, you need help. You're so sad. You're so disturbed. You're so crazy. Like when Sam Tripoli is judging me, And it's actually not the case. A lot of times those big names on TV, they're all on pills. They're all sad. And they're not in a position to tell anyone else how to live. You want to help people, just say the truth. Just say the truth as best as you can. I see God in the universe. But the simulation is the atheist's coping mechanism to God. Because it's it's a simulation. It's a metaphor. So there's a simulation where there's a creator of the simulation, but you don't call it God. So, because if you just say simulation, well, what if the simulation's in a simulation? What if that simulation's in a simulation? And it's just turtles all the way down, right? There's no unmoved mover, as Aristotle described. You have to have the source, the unmoved mover, that which was not created by anything else. And I know that's very hard for myself and many people to conceive of, and that's fine. You can just put that into the realm of God. But there clearly is a one. There is a creator of the universe. Now, you can call that a computer programmer, and I think a lot of atheistic materialists hold on to the simulation theory because it alleviates them from morality. But it still doesn't, because metaphorically, what is good in a program? Serving the creator's code. It actually is a good metaphor. And so if the code gets corrupted, you send in an admin, Jesus Christ, the Messiah, the prophets. You send in, that's why I don't say Jesus is God, because in that metaphor, he's doing his Father's bidding, his Father's work, thy will be done. It's a way to have the creator's will be more, be corrected within the quote unquote simulation. But it's, when you call it a simulation, you try to materialize that which is not material. You're right back to square one. And then you're doing it all over again, where you're like, oh, it's just a simulation. None of it matters. Well, then that's nihilistic. And then who created the simulation? Is he in a simulation? And they're like, no, there's 3 simulations. And then God. It's like, what? I wouldn't call the simulation theory a coping mechanism. It can destroy someone as much as a demonic influenced explanation. No, but what I'm saying is the coping mechanism is the lack of acknowledgement of an unmoved mover. That sometimes it works where you capture the capture, and it just goes forever. It's like a mirror room. And that doesn't bring you any closer to the idea that there is an unmovable mover, that something is outside of this. And then, it's fine to acknowledge that you can't possibly understand that. But to say a simulation, you're still trying to control it. You're still trying to say, oh, someone made the simulation that we're in right now. But you're just not acknowledging the eternal nature of that being that is different than everything within this. Okay, anyway.